We've waited patiently for years to see the new generation of Formula One cars in action, and the 2022 Bahrain Grand Prix finally gave us the chance to see the new era at work in racing conditions. The first race of the season had plenty of excitement, drama, and storylines that will leave F1 fans with plenty to talk about post-race. But there isn't much time to digest the first race of 2022, as we'll be back racing in Jeddah in just a few days' time. So with that being said, we thought we'd put together a short list of some of the things we learned from race number 1 of the 2022 season, and what that potentially tells us about the rest of the year. If you enjoyed these types of videos, consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications so you never miss a breakdown following a race this season. Ferrari has made a habit of having good preseason tests with fast lap times, only to go on and disappoint the Tifosi when the actual season gets underway. 2022 started very well for the Scuderia, as they were the best team in testing and were tipped as the early favorites by many. After the checkered flag dropped on the 2022 Bahrain Grand Prix, it's safe to say that Ferrari is back, but for real this time. The atmosphere around the Maranello team is unlike anything in the last few seasons, and they feel that they've got the whole package to win it all this year. Charles Leclerc had a redemption weekend in Bahrain, taking pole position and a commanding race victory. Leclerc drove a fantastic race, weathering the storm of Max Verstappen's attacks and keeping a cool head during the late safety car scenario. Even with the pressure from Verstappen, Leclerc and Ferrari looked to have plenty of pace in hand and much more tire life than the Red Bulls. If you're a Ferrari fan, you'll be pleased with how the team operated the race, with good strategy calls and quick no-nonsense pit stops. Although Carlos Sainz was off the pace this weekend, it's still a perfect start for Ferrari as they lead both the Drivers' and Constructors' World Championships. The Bahrain GP confirms Ferrari's pace, reliability, and that the hype could very well be real for 2022. Not only is the Works team back to their best, the Ferrari power unit has made a huge leap as well, as 5 of the 6 Ferrari-powered cars finished inside the top 10, while other manufacturers struggled to even finish the 57-lap race. Besides eagerly awaiting to see what the running order would be, fans were equally excited to see whether these new regulations were actually going to do what they were designed to do. And from the early signs in Bahrain, it does indeed look like the drivers will be able to race closer this season. Throughout the race, we saw plenty of close battles up and down the grid, with drivers able to follow in the dirty air much closer than we've seen in recent years. The DRS also didn't seem quite as powerful as the last few seasons, with drivers actually having to complete overtakes under braking instead of just easy blow-bys on the straights. It seemed the limitation for drivers in the race was coming from tire degradation instead of the dirty air problem of past seasons, as many drivers opted for a 3-stop strategy. It is the first race of 2022, so let's be careful and cautious, but all signs point to a move in the direction F1 wanted to go, and that overall the racing has improved. As with this entire list, it's important to remember that this is only the first race of the season and not a final indication of what the order will be. If you're a McLaren or Aston Martin fan, you're certainly hoping the Bahrain GP is an anomaly, but the first race of 2022 does give us an indication of the potential pecking order. One of the most positive surprises of the Bahrain Grand Prix was the resurgence of the BackMarker teams from the last few seasons. After finishing 9th and 10th in the constructor standings in 2021, Alfa Romeo and Haas looked to be BackMarkers no more, as all 4 of their drivers had stellar races. On his F1 return, Kevin Magnussen scored a P5 thanks to some great racing and a little bit of luck with the Red Bull's retirements. Alfa Romeo's Valtteri Bottas recovered from a poor lap 1 start to finish in P6 on his debut for the team, and his teammate had a great race on his debut in Formula 1. Guan Yu Zhou picked up 1 point in 10th place and became the first Chinese driver to score a point in F1. Alfa Romeo will be encouraged by their lap times, as will Haas, and early indications are that these two teams are going to be fighting at the sharp end of the midfield. Where they finish at the end of 2022, no one knows, but let's just enjoy the fact that Haas is currently sitting third in the Constructors' Championship, with Alfa Romeo right behind in fourth. A major storyline coming out of the Bahrain Grand Prix would have been the Leclerc versus Verstappen battle for the lead, but that has somewhat taken a back seat to Red Bull's reliability issues. Regardless, the Leclerc-Verstappen duel in the desert potentially shows us what's to come in 2022, and that is awesome news for F1 fans. We've seen the two drivers have plenty of battles in the past, but with both of them now having top machinery, the prospect of a Leclerc-Verstappen championship fight might even be more exciting than what we got last season. Leclerc showed his brilliance by fending off the reigning world champion and even regaining the lead into turn 4 as he went side by side with Verstappen and not giving the world champion an inch. It was a big statement drive from Leclerc, and he's now set the benchmark for his rivals to chase. Red Bull do have a fast car, maybe not as fast as Ferrari at the moment, but the bigger issue is their reliability concerns. Firstly, Verstappen had overheating brakes during the race, which made it difficult to attack Leclerc for an extended period of time. Then, during the safety car pit stops, Verstappen returned to the track with a steering issue that Red Bull say was caused when the car was dropped from the jack and led to track rod damage. The nightmare was completed for Red Bull when both cars suffered fuel supply issues that many F1 teams say is related to the new E10 fuel and the temperature it runs at when being pumped around the tank when the car is on low fuel. Hopefully these issues for Red Bull aren't the beginning of a season-long headache, because this potential championship fight between F1's brightest young stars could be one for the ages. So what did you think of the 2022 Bahrain Grand Prix, and how do you see the rest of the season playing out? Comment your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed watching this video, leave it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks for watching.